You guys, so today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I will be showing you guys 10 sports cards that are literally skyrocketing day by day. Obviously with the NBA back, with just one game, as I'm recording this, with just one day of real NBA play, there's been a ton of cards that have absolutely popped off, gone up a lot, and I do want to go over each and every one of them because I think it is very important for people to get a market update right now because things are going crazy, and in the heat of all this, there are still cards going down, there are cards going up, and there are cards staying the same. But before we get into that, I do want to mention we are hosting a Christmas sale on our Sports Card Invest membership website. So you can actually use code Christmas to get you 20% off. Now, just last Sunday, we are buying up all of these Kevin Durants for just a fraction of the price as they are right now. I believe when we were buying these last week, the PSA 9s were roughly $350 to $400. They're currently easing in on $500 if we look at sold listings. So if you guys do want to keep ahead of the market, make the most money you can in the market, click the link down below. Use code Christmas to get you 20% off. Obviously, with anticipation of Kevin Durant's return, I thought regardless, after seeing how he played in the preseason, my membership group, we really thought that he would be going up very soon. And sure enough, he did get that huge rise. So if you guys would like to stay ahead of the market with our research, go ahead, click the link down below. Use code Christmas to get you 20% off. But that is the first card that is on fire. Second card we have that is absolutely on fire right now is Miles Bridges. He's a Hornet, obviously. And he had a quite quiet last season. So his prices were quite low. Honestly, prior to this season, his prices were dirt cheap. But he has been playing very well since the preseason. With LaMelo Ball, obviously, they now have Gordon Hayward. Terry Rozier played very well. So the Hornets kind of may have something going. Obviously, they did drop their first game to the Cavs, which was not a good sign. But, Miles Bridges has been playing exceptional. So his cards are really increasing right now. I believe his Prism ungraded is around 10 to 11 bucks. If we look back just a few weeks ago, this was literally a $3 to $4 card. Maybe even a few days ago, it was around a $3 to $4 card. So that's definitely a big increase. Obviously, the Hornets are getting a lot more attention than they've ever got. So that's a lot of opportunity for guys like PJ Washington and other Hornets players who have not got the attention yet. But, it's quite good increase right there for Miles Bridges. Definitely great to see a young player like him start to have some big games. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next guy, which is his teammate, Terry Rozier. Now, obviously, his cards were not transacted too much until last game. He had a big 42-point game in the Hornets season opener. So that obviously caught a lot of people's attention. His PSA 10 sold for $150 yesterday, which is quite crazy because this was literally a card that no one even, thought to grade prior to this. So, obviously I do say, obviously if a player has a breakout game like Terry Rozier, chances are there's not many graded cards of him on the market. So I would personally not go out and buy one of these just because they're super hot right now after one big game. Who knows? After two smaller games from Terry Rozier, people may forget about him, but people were paying up to 30 bucks for his Prism yesterday, ungraded, which was, that's flat out insane because literally days before that, this was a $10 card. So it's crazy to see how the market is reacting. As you can see, this was literally a $5, $6 card, and all of a sudden $30. So if the market's reacting like that, as I mentioned in last video, I definitely think it's very smart to start buying some players who could have a 40-point game. Obviously there's many out there in the league that are quite cheap, but, have those 40-point games here and there. Like Zach LaVine, right? He's quite cheap, but he does have those big 40-point games. So if he has a big 40-point game, his cards could start to skyrocket like this. So definitely something to keep your eye out on. Without further ado, we're going to hop right into the monster of the day, which was Ja Morant. He dropped 44 points in the season opener, and his cards have absolutely flew through the walls after that game. Currently, they're nearly hitting $800 or $700 in a PSA 10, which is absolutely absurd, considering it was a $450 card 2 weeks back. So that's a crazy increase on Ja Morant. But this kid certainly has a big future ahead of him. He won Rookie of the Year firstly, but after winning Rookie of the Year, his prices did not move too much. And all of a sudden, he has one big game now, and, stuff's just flying through the roof. So, as I said, so much opportunity. If you go out and buy, Zach LaVine, who could have a 40-point game on any given night, and his cards could pop. De'Aaron Fox, he could have a 40-point game. His cards could pop off and really get a big increase. So, definitely very smart to increase to start investing in cards like that as we see the market going crazy on a daily basis. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next guy who is going up quite a lot, which is Trae Young. Trae Young had a big season opener. The Hawks had a big season opener, and his cards are seeing some huge increases. They're currently roughly $650. This was around $550 4 days ago, I would say. So, that's a quite big increase. Obviously, people are expecting a lot from Trae this season. All this is basically is, how a player plays versus their expectations. So, Trae obviously exceeded expectations, so his prices ended up going up. But, if, say 2 games down the line, he does not live up to expectations, then you will certainly see this card start to dip a little bit again. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, which is James Wiseman. His cards have been on fire ever since his big opener. Obviously, he literally did not play. He hasn't played a real game in so long. Even in college, he had a whole mess up over there. So he didn't play any preseason games whatsoever due to COVID. And now he came back in his season opener, dropped 19 points, which was, he was playing very well, and his cards have started to get a lot of attention. I know this is his draft picks cards, so it's a little bit different. This is not, obviously, until March, all these rookies, people will be buying their draft picks cards, which as soon as the normal prism drops in March, these cards are going to go to literally $2-3. We see Zion's draft picks cards are dirt cheap as well. So I would definitely not recommend buying them. I would definitely keep your eye out on these rookies. So when March comes around, you can go ahead and purchase the real deal. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, which is Jayson Tatum. His cards have been absolutely on fire recently. Obviously, he had the big game winner last night versus the Milwaukee Bucks. His cards have jumped to $800 in a PSA 10, which is quite crazy considering that this card was around $600 3 weeks ago and was around, I would say, $650 to $700 days prior to that. So a big increase right there for Jayson Tatum. Around a $75 to $80 increase after that one game, which is quite big. It's just one game, one shot, basically. He didn't even have an incredible game. It was just that one big shot. So, it's crazy to see how the market's reacting to these games, but definitely great to see Jayson Tatum's cards getting a big increase. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next card that is going up a lot, which is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie obviously has had a handful of ups and downs in his past 3 years, but he seems to be very happy in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant, and the Nets seem to be killing it. Obviously the Nets had an incredible preseason, had an incredible first game versus the Golden State Warriors, and for that reason, Kyrie Irving's prices have gone from roughly $900 to almost $1,200 on some listings. So a nice solid increase for Kyrie Irving. Obviously Kyrie is one of those guys, he can flat out play when he is on, when he's hitting his shots, he is a real threat. So obviously with the Nets favored right now to win the Eastern Conference, Kyrie's definitely some guy who will have a lot of shine in the national media and overall will get a lot of attention. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next guy who is going up a lot, which is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard obviously had a very disappointing performance in the bubble, but he is back, and the Clippers are back and rolling this season. His card's all the way up to $2,500 right now. So that's a huge increase for Kawhi. Definitely great to see Kawhi back on, playing how he should be, because Kawhi is, he's a proven superstar. When he is playing well, he's probably one of the best playoff players you can ask for. So if we get that Kawhi back this playoffs, this coming season's playoffs, we can really see some huge increases. This was literally a $4,000 card in August. So, this card has incredible potential. It's first year Prism of a superstar, probably the best player in the draft class. So, definitely expecting some big things from Kawhi Leonard. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our last guy, which is Paul George's 2012 Prism. Paul George had a phenomenal return, honestly. This was really his breakout game for this year. He's got so much, slack for what's happened in the bubble. He's been making excuses. People were really down on him, thinking that he's no longer a superstar anymore. But after last game, I really think he is back. This season can be big for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, because we all know the potential they have. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were favorites to win last year. Were not favorites to win this year because of their performance last year. But, regardless, they have the potential. If they can put, things together and really get there, I think that this could be a championship team. So that's why Paul George's first-year Prisms have gone up quite a lot. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Once again, if you would like to join the program, click the link down below. Use code CHRISTMAS to get you 20% off. Other than that, have a great day, guys. Merry Christmas, and I'm out. Peace.